So
Do we need to resync, or did you keep that going?
I kept it going.
Sweet. Um,
But yeah, you were telling me about D&D,
yeah,
which is awesome.
You would actually, yeah, you would look good with some more like, not that like I should, but like I'm not.
That you should tell me how to look.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. I just like to talk about girl stuff with girls.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine.
But like the icy like gray pastel white color that
That it is right now.
yeah, kind of, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's rad. I like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's gonna go away next week. It irritates me.
Oh, really? You're gonna do something different?
No, probably not. I've been thinking about doing it in a different color, but I don't know what. And basically, if I don't do a color, it'll just be those bleach sections. So
I think the pastel colors are super cool, and like it's not gonna last forever. You know what I mean? Like in a couple years, it probably will be. So like, it's kind of cool. Like if I could, I wish I would do it. To be honest, like, I love it. I think they're super cool. I'd love to do like a silver, and I don't know, like.
Oh yeah, I like that. What like white's really in too.
Yeah. So, but I'll probably go silver. Well, I'll probably go bald before I go silver. So.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm always like, Mandy's 40, and I'm always trying. I'm not always trying, but she's like, "What should I do with my hair?" And I'm like, "You should do whatever you like." And then she's like, "Well, what do you think's cool?" I'm like, "Pastel colors. I think pastel colors are super cool.
They are cool.
I don't know." So.
Tandem mug sip.
Yeah, tandem mug sip. We're just like so much better friends. It's like
I know we're just like besties. Like that's what it is.
It's just nice to have the show in its original conception. Before someone forced themselves onto the show because they're insecure. So like, I'm not gonna name names.
I mean,
I'm not gonna name names. You don't want to throw shade at people. Like that's not nice.
That's not what we do here.
But like the original idea of the DCC was Dale and Shannon and I think
Baby Josh.
Yeah, and I think it works. It works well, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think we're more prone to get off onto tangents unless I steer us back on track.
Oh yeah, you know what? I've gotten some compliments on my hosting duties lately. So.
Oh okay. Oh well, then host the show, Dale. Yeah, there you go.
It's like wrangling cats with you people.
Oh my goodness, is it?
I feel like I wrote something in here. Oh no, I did. Okay. Well, okay. So. You know what? Let's do the rundown, and then I'm going to tell you a quick story about why I'm proud of Dash right now.
Yeah, totally.
This week. Oh man, I ruined it. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 28 of the DCC. We've got movie news. We've got This Week on YouTube. We've got 4-on-1 on 1901. We have a Marvel moment. We have Parks news. Oh, so sweet Parks news. Anyone who complained about Build-A-Bear can just GTFO, because we've got something sweet that I think is probably going in the place that people were set. Like, we thought it was going to be like a restaurant thing, but I think it's going to be this place, but we'll see. And we've got to geek out because Shannon and I have some talking to do, and she has some explaining to do.
That's what I was going to say.
She said she doesn't like the original Star Wars trilogy. Those are her words. No,
what I said.
Yes, it is. I have it recorded. So,
okay. You know what? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the specifics, and I'm sure she's going to redefine I don't like the Star Wars trilogy. I totally expect that.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
I've got like a whole dance mover planned.
Yeah. We're going to see some alternative facts here.
Yep.
But I'm excited to talk about the original trilogy with Shannon. And yeah, so it's going to be awesome. So to all who have come to this happy place, welcome to the Disney Culture Club. Yeah, so it's been like a really fun week. Now that we're like farther removed from D23, I'm like less depressed about not being with you guys. Then I got like a little sad again about it. I was like, oh, yeah. But it's okay. we were talking about so just so you guys know, Angie also participates in the trolling of Josh and in our Slack chat room, which if you guys ever want to join Slack and chat with us, we have like a whole channel. We used to do that. We used to ask people to join, and if you're ever interested, you can always just message us and we'll send you a Slack invite. But anyways, so Josh and we were talking, and I guess Angie was like, you should do cause he wants to do like a date night video at Disneyland and get like other couples together and stuff like that, which is a great idea, which, you know, someone's probably going to do the idea now. But Angie was like, you should take Jenny Ray, which is great. I would take Jenny Ray over Angie. And Angie doesn't listen to the show. It's okay. So we can.
Oh my god.
So anyway, Josh was like, okay, like I figured I'd go with you, and I was like, hey, actually, if in February maybe I could come down, I could make that work. Hey, Angie, would you like to be my date? And she's like, yeah, that would be sweet. I was hoping you'd ask. And Josh just was
like, I hate you all.
Yeah, he was losing all the marbles.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically all we do on Slack is just make fun of Josh, basically.
We kind of all just make fun of each other. Like it's definitely like, and never mean, because that would be bullying.
Right,
we
that's
don't bully.
Correct.
But
we don't bully.
Yeah, we just like to tease. It's because we've gotten to that point where we're so comfortable and we like know like that we all like love each other or whatever.
Yeah. That we know the limits.
Yeah, and also like, you know, and now that Angie's moved to California, I'm sure she's like, oh, I had like so many different options than Josh. So.
I bet Josh is just like slowly closing his eyes, going, "I hate you, Dale, right now in spirit." Oh my god.
Yeah, he like whatever he's doing right now, he's probably just like, I
feel like I hate Dale.
It feels like there were millions of voices suddenly silenced.
It's like I just had this sudden urge came over me. I feel like I hate Dale right now. Don't know why.
So much hate Dale. But it's nice. It's nice to just be you and me. We were thinking about bringing someone on. We asked Jack from Turning Out a Harbor, but he had like swim tryouts or something. I can't remember.
A regular life.
Yeah. What do you?
Hey, Percy Jackson joined the swim team when he got to have a regular life.
Oh,
so
that's
you
cool.
know,
yeah.
His birthday's coming up. Not my dogs, the actual characters.
Yeah, I think that's like a good sport when you're like, let's show off this like young boy's body. They're like, let's put him on a swim team.
All right.
I don't know, like it's the swim team. Does every high school have a swim team? Because not here, that we don't have swim teams.
I was surprised to find out all of the different sports teams we had when I finally looked like through the yearbook when I was a freshman. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know we had swimming and golf and tennis and hockey, because we don't have that kind of stuff really.
You have a hockey team?
Yeah, a hockey team.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, we don't have high school hockey teams.
Really?
Yeah. No, like there's like there are some places that have like high school affiliated, but they're not. It's not like a thing. Like we don't like. Yeah, you would think like. Yeah. It'd be like there's an ice rink.
It'd be like the football
a school around an ice rink.
Hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You would think it would be like that. It is not. We actually more high schools have football teams than anything.
I guess that's just a North American thing then.
Yeah. Football's really popular up here actually.
I had to go to every football game for 4 years. Still don't like it.
Our football's pretty much the same, except for it's 10 yards bigger because we have 2 50s, and there's 3 downs, so people throw the ball a lot more.
All I could think of when you said that it was 10 yards bigger was that it would throw all of our drill off for marching band. That was the first place my mind went to.
Well, there's a 50 and then there's a 50, so it's kind of like a neutral zone, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
In the one section there. But yeah, there's just more passing and stuff like that.
That would just ruin all the drill. Have to be completely rewritten for Canada.
Yeah. But Canada created, like, NFL football is based off of Canadian rules. Canadian football has existed longer, so... another little thing that Canada's given to America. So,
cool.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, America.
Before we get on to the show, though, I want to talk about this really cool thing. So Dash comes to me and he's like, hey, I like this. I'm interested in this game. And he shows me this old Dungeons & Dragons thing. And as a lot of listeners probably know, I play Dungeons & Dragons. I love Dungeons & Dragons. I don't play it all as much right now because I'm working all the time, but love it. It's tons of fun. Everyone should take the opportunity to play. You don't even, like, just one person has to try to, like, help run the game, and other than that, everyone can play, and it's really easy. They've made it super easy to do. For, like, $15-20, you can get a full starter kit, and it gives you dice and everything, and you're ready to play. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so he was interested, and I, like, showed him all my books, and it's pretty overwhelming when you show, like all these textbooks. But at the comic book store, Big Pete's Collectibles in North Vancouver. So if you ever go to Vancouver, always go to Big Pete's because it's the best. And anyway, so every Saturday in the back, they play Dungeons and Dragons. And there's like a couple of DMs. There's usually someone that I know who was the director of some short films that I wrote. And he's like, and we used to work at Shaw together, and he's a good guy, and he runs campaign. But there was a younger guy who was running a campaign for some of the younger people, and so Dash with like these 13-year-olds, Dash is 11. He said we went to Big Pete's. He just went in the back, like met the kids on his own. Mandy left, was there for 4 hours, right? Because you play Dungeons and Dragons in 4-hour sessions, usually minimum. And he played. I walked there and gave him some pizza and some pop on their like break at the 2-hour mark. And he was like, I'm having a lot of fun, and I was like, okay, cool. And so then one of the fun things to do is like get your own dice. So I told him I could pick his own dice, and so he went after he picked his own dice. But I kind of thought that would be it. Like he would be like, oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. We let him walk home on his own for the first time. From there, it's only like 3 blocks away, and it's straight. So we're like, let's make this like a big thing. And every Saturday he can go on his own. And so anyway, so he gets home, and the entire day he's just been studying and reading up on how to like make a new character. And he was like looking at, he first figured out which race he wanted to be, which is awesome. And then he figured out what racial abilities they had, and then he figured out what classes would work with those racial abilities, and then he figured out what class he wanted. And he's so cool. He wants to be a half-elf bard. And if anyone knows anything about Dungeons and Dragons, no one picks bard. No one ever picks bard, and it's such a cool class. And I'm so proud that he's so unique and so cool. So anyways, that's cool. That's like really cool. Like I really like that he's into that kind of stuff. The more I hear about Dash, the more I'm like positive that he's going to become like the coolest person in the world. Like I already know it. Like he's already super cool. Oh yeah,
and I mean,
fine,
yeah.
And he doesn't really care what other people think. So
yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah. I mean, I think whenever he gets like really into reading, if he ever does that, he needs to read Ready Player One, because D&D is a huge factor in that, is what I've found out. yeah, and he's really into like really good graphic novels, like not just superhero graphic novels. Like he's reading like Eisner Award-winning ones and stuff. That's awesome.
A lot of female protagonists he's a lot of drawn to. Like this one, everyone should read. There's these 2 comic books. I probably should do a little thing about them, but there's one called The Courageous Princess, which if you like Studio Ghibli stuff, that's really awesome. It's not that it's Studio Ghibli, but it's just kind of that art style. And 2, Princessless. And Princessless is a comic book series that's based off of Disney princess. Like it's taken the Disney princesses and made them like anti-Disney princesses, but it's very focused on being anti-Disney.
It's really awesome.
It's really awesome. And you guys should check those out, and Dash loves those. But anyways, it was kind of a cool moment. So I was just, if you are somebody who wants to play Dungeons and Dragons, see if your local comic book store does it. You can do it online through Skype with people. It still works, and it's a lot of fun. And they've made it super 5th edition. It's super easy to play. Like it plays like a modern style game. You have a tank and a DPS and range and all that stuff. So anyways, I just want to tell people that, and I was just really proud of Dash. It was awesome. I was like, just really
I'm really proud of Dash, and I've never even met him in person.
Yeah, I know you've never met him in person. I know you will one day, but Maybe we'll pick a convention to go to, because I usually go to like Fan Expo, but maybe we can like meet somewhere in the middle, like in the middle. I was gonna say Emerald City Comic Con. That's not really in the middle. That's still kind of more leaning towards me, but
I mean, you have more people to transport.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, let's get on to some movie news. I don't know if I've ever done an intro for like a thing properly ever.
No, I don't think so.
I always like do a different voice.
As long as you pause after you say it, I don't care what you do.
I usually give a good pause. But
sometimes.
You know what? Here's the thing with Dark Tower. It only cost $60 million. And you could tell they spent a lot on marketing, which was good. I think 20 million opening weekend estimates right now. I think that's not bad. I think 35 probably would have been preferred, but like I don't like really know. So Dark Tower is a book that I like read 3/4 of and then just stopped because it's really long.
It's a very long series.
Yeah, and
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but even like the book, like the first book, like I know the whole thing is like it explains itself in the end, and it's like, yeah, but like I'd like some, like I just want, like I don't know how so many people were like, sweet, let's just continue following this dude, and I don't know, I didn't really enjoy the book.
I was gonna pick it up, but it's so daunting. It really is. It's like 7 books, and it starts in the middle. It's very strange.
And I'm not a it starts in the middle, and it's so. Mm-hmm. And
a lot of Stephen King likes to do that. Like he starts off in the middle,
and it's fine. It's fine, but like we don't even get any like world building really. Like we don't establish any sort of rules or ideas. Like I don't understand everyone's motivations for a long period of time. I'm not connected to the character. You know, like people love Stephen King, and so I like for the books, you know, like and all the characters come and it's different worlds, and each story is a circle that's intertwining, and I get that, and that's how you can make the Dark Tower movie not based off of any of the books, because it's just another circle that you add to the chain, which is cool. I love all that, but I just haven't ever really been drawn to it. Like, and none of the trailers really made me.
Right. It is kind of. I don't know. I will say that as far as like Dark Tower goes, if you are a writer or you want to be a writer or any of that kind of stuff, you should read these books, because I've been kind of reading up on it and watching some videos about it, and I sent one to my cousin, and she's totally freaking out because the way that these books are written and the way it plays with story is really unique. It obviously isn't for everybody. I don't think I would enjoy these books very much either. I'm interested in seeing the movie, but I also know that it's not your typical experience at all, and it can either be a good thing or a bad thing, and I don't really know which way it's gonna fall.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's, you know, so it's tough, but you know, the thing is though, I want lots of more of these types of stories to be made, and you know, the world, I'm sure it hasn't opened completely worldwide, so in a couple weeks we'll probably see more and more money coming worldwide, so it's going to make its money back for sure. And $60 million sci-fi or like thing, like that's perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what I want. Like we want more content like that, so you want it to do well, but it probably should have done a little bit better. Like it is a little bit underwhelming for them. Dunkirk is good. It's made all its money back. They're going to be happy with that. Emoji Movie actually has made its money back too. So Sony has Sony's and has 2 movies in the top 5, and you know, they both maybe might make their money back. And Emoji Movie just did, so yay for them.
Yeah.
Detroit.
I want to see Detroit.
You want to see Detroit?
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I probably won't see it in the theaters, but I do want to see it. I think it looks interesting. And it's got Guy with Good Posture in it, so, you know.
And it's Catherine Bigelow, which is crazy. If people don't know Catherine Bigelow, well, we'll just start at Point Break, Strange Days, K-19 Widowmaker, Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, just those little films. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool. It kind of looks like Detroit's a pretty scary place.
Yeah. It looks almost... I mean, is it supposed to be a horror movie? Because it makes me think of a horror movie.
Yeah, I know. So... I'm like, is this like post-apocalyptic? Yeah, like, where are the zombies? Oh, no, this is just the way it is.
Right, yeah. Well, that's why I want to see it, because it seems very provocative, and so I think it'll be interesting to, like, just to see what they do with it.
Yeah, no, totally. So I want to talk about, too, this. So Disney has cast Jafar. Marwan Kenzari is going to be Jafar. Cool casting. But I need to talk about like the rumored casting. I don't think it's been 100% confirmed. Will Smith is the genie.
I'm not happy about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the heck is anyone supposed to think about that? Because, like, okay, you're not going to make the genie the Robin Williams genie.
Right. Obviously, they're going in a completely different direction. If they try to be like Robin Williams' genie, it's totally not going to work at all.
Yeah, basically, you would have to just get like Jimmy Fallon to do an impression of Robin Williams to do anything that would be appropriate for anybody. So you might as well go another way.
Right.
So I guess we would go with like the idea is to go with like cocky and arrogant genie, maybe.
Yeah. And it also kind of made me think of
Agrabah.
Yeah, I mean, and I obviously didn't finish A Whole New World from the Twisted Tales because I didn't like it, and I'm not going to read that series. Stop talking about it. But it made me think of that genie, which is actually, he's like really sad. And I don't know why Will Smith as a genie made me think of this really sad genie, but it was like this polar opposite is what it made me think of in my mind.
Now that he's a he does. He seems sadder these days.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's having fun.
Yeah, I'm wondering now what this movie is going to look like, because that's already a drastic change, and I'm all for, changing it up because I don't like it when it's just a straight up retelling.
What's the point?
Right. But it's kind of weird. As long as it fits in the narrative, it could be fine, but I still think it's weird.
I think it's weird. I think it's weird visually to say Will Smith is a genie. I think until people see the trailer of it and, there's going to be resistance to it. We all, not we all, but a lot of people didn't like Heath Ledger as the Joker originally. People were complaining about Ben Affleck as Batman. So you can't worry about casting like you have to trust you don't know the full vision of it, right?
Yeah.
People complain about
we really can't
wearing a fat suit and Shallow Hal like way back in the day, and it was like people were like, well, why aren't they casting heavier set actresses? It's like, what? No, like you don't even know what the movie's about, obviously.
Right. Yeah. It's like we really can't judge it until we know the context, but it's still
because for me, I would want to go for like maybe like another, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do, right? There's no Robin Williams replacement. Well,
that's the thing. What do you do? Why are you making Aladdin a live action? You can't. So.
Well, yeah. I'm totally fine with every single Disney movie that has real people in it being remade into a live action. Totally fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think princess movies are the right direction for it. But we'll see.
Yeah. Is Aladdin a princess movie?
Well, it's technically not, because that's the weird thing about Aladdin is that it's like a boys movie, but since it has a princess in it, Jasmine can be a Disney princess, whereas Jane and Esmeralda and Meg can't because they're in boys movies, so whatever. I'm bitter about that.
So because they're in girls' movies, you mean? And we're doing quotes, boys, girls' movies.
Yeah, because technically Tarzan, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Hercules are boys movies. Yeah, so
right.
Their female leads aren't Disney princesses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jasmine can be because she's already a princess.
Yes. So she just like kind of got out of that loophole there.
Yep. Basically, that's why that's the forgotten trio. Same kind of with Kida, because she was Atlantis is like a boys movie, so it's kind of like a forgotten squad
and
now.
She's a queen.
Well, yeah, she's also a queen, which
Elsa.
makes her better.
Her and Elsa are the only queens. Actually, you know what? Kida's not even in the Wreck-It Ralph scene, is she?
No, she's not. No, and neither are, Meg, Esmeralda, or Jane.
I get Meg. They're not. Meg isn't a princess because Hercules gives up all of his claim to the throne and everything like that.
Well, yeah. Well, none of them are princesses for sure, but they're still cool. But anyway.
I love Meg. See you around, Herc.
I know. She's amazing. Like, all of my SAS goals, that's Meg.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Will Smith is a weird one for me. Let's move on to This Week on YouTube, starring Shannon McCarter. I always have to do it twice.
You've never actually done it.
I always have to do it twice because I forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, This Week on YouTube, starring Shannon McCarter. Please tell us, starring Shannon McCarter.
Starring me. So Darkiplier.
You can find Shannon McCarter at
Antisepticeye. So my fangirl heart, I'm just going to keep talking over you. My fangirl heart completely exploded when I saw this because I am a huge fan of Antisepticeye. Anybody who follows me or the network on Instagram now knows this thing. And Markiplier posted a video where it was his dark persona, Darkiplier, versus Antisepticeye. And it just made me so happy. It was a fangirl explosion. But the bloopers just made my entire life. And even if you don't know anything about this thing, go watch the bloopers because it's absolutely hysterical. I can't even. I don't have anything to say about it. I just wanted to bring your attention to it because it's amazing.
And they made their bloopers like a separate video, right?
Yeah, they did. There's like a whole separate thing on Markiplier's. It's all on Markiplier's channel because Jacksepticeye was doing something different with Anti. Yeah. But it's really cool.
And he was busy hanging out at D23 with me. So
yeah, with his new best friend.
That's so funny. And what about Star Wars fan vids?
Oh yeah, so all this week I've been watching a lot of Star Wars fan vids, and it's just ones where they take scenes and dialogue and put it with like moody music or whatever and have the chosen one or like any of that kind of stuff. But I'm just really into these kinds of videos. I think they're really cool. I think they're an interesting way to tell stories. I like them a lot with anything. I watch a lot of Doctor Who ones, Harry Potter ones, but I've just been noticing a lot of good prequel ones, especially like Ahsoka and Anakin, and they're really awesome. So Star Wars fan vids, thumbs up.
Have you watched, there's like some really high production fan videos as well. I don't know if they're on YouTube, because I don't think they were on YouTube back when like I watched them. So but you try to find them. There's like really like some high production ones. I don't know what any of them are called, but they're just like little things that take place in the Star Wars universe kind of, and it was happening kind of like in the early days of the internets. But there's some really good production ones out there. Like probably if you do like Star Wars short films, probably would be a way to do it, because it wouldn't have been like it was short. They didn't really do the fan label till later. Right.
Well, and that's probably what it is. It is kind of more like a short film, whereas these are definitely just like edits.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, which I also like. All of the Jelsa videos are just edits, which they still make me happy.
Yeah. I've been still thinking about doing that with Deadpool. Yeah, but then someone was like, well, wouldn't it be more fun if you just wait till you feel that Jude is ready, which is like, 10 years from now. And then he like finally can watch it. But I don't know. He's chomping at the bit. He's so drawn to this Deadpool character, and he has no idea.
He has no idea.
So we're going to talk about it later. But there's the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire VR experience that's coming out, which is super cool. But what is really cool is, like, you might have seen the headline. I'm sure a lot of you read the headline. You're like, oh, sweet. And you thought you understood what it was all going to be about. Well, you don't. So you need to go look at the Void video. The first look at the Void video. The Void is what ILM is going to be who they're working with, and what they do is they create a space, and then with the VR experience, they use that space as layout to generate the environment in your VR system, so you are walking around a real space. It's the first time in a VR situation where you're walking around the space. And so people are like, well, won't you bump into anything? No, because the space is designed around what you're seeing. So you're going to be, it's insane. When you're walking through like cobwebs, they'll put just like, little pieces of string and stuff just so you get tactile feel. If you have like a sword, they'll put like a half sword in your hand. So this is going to be the experience, is that it's like a even more immersive, tactile VR experience. If there's wind and mist, they're going to blow it on you as well, or if there's rain, you'll feel the water and the mist, so you're going to not only see it but feel it, and that is going to play with your mind a lot, because your mind can be tricked. And I'm so excited to see this. I can't believe it's going to be in downtown Disney. Like, the lineups are going to be insane, because you don't even have to pay for a ticket.
No, yeah, because you just walk into downtown Disney. And I'm watching the video right now. This is so cool. And again, I'm reading Ready Player One, and that's what it's making me think of, except they don't really get to walk around in like an environment. I love that games are going in this direction, like becoming just so immersive, because they're all about telling stories, and this is literally inserting you into a story and you are part of it, and that's really, really awesome. I think this looks so amazing, and I'm excited to talk more about the Star Wars stuff when we get to it.
Yeah, so check out that the first look at the Void video. It'll blow your mind. Now let's blow some smoke at ourselves and do 401 on 1901.
I am back.
Also, rad Disney. It's a little more than a bound, because I think like anytime it's a bound, you're Peter Pan bound. But I always feel like when you have a shirt or something
that says it, it's a little on the nose.
It's a little, it's not quite. It's more, it's a little more just like fanning out.
Oh yeah, I think it's very on the. I mean, my bracelet even says "Never Grow Up" and has Peter Pan on it, but
it's still a bound. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but it's.
I think it's almost like if Peter Pan was a emo hipster.
Yeah.
Like myself.
Yeah, like remember when you weren't I was gonna say any of those things.
Yeah,
you were some of those things.
I do. I remember when it went from shopping at Justice to shopping at Hot Topics. I don't know when that happened, the transition, but it did at some point.
It's so funny. Your mom was supposed to be like, those boys are having a bad influence on my daughter. She dresses, really outlandishly now. So...
I mean, I made a fake wound on my neck the other day, so I think that was her sitting there going, "What's happening?"
She was probably like worried it was like a hickey or something. So
she watched me do it. She was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?"
Okay. Hickeys are gross, everybody. Don't do hickeys. So
anyway.
I love Shannon's so funny. She can't even mention the word hickeys without being like, anyways, I'm uncomfortable now.
I mean, well, never mind.
All right. Real life Slytherin, everybody. People have said this is the greatest video we've ever made. I don't know if that's... No, I'm kidding. So we got to be at Harry Potter World. It was great. I dressed up as a Slytherin. Angie was a confused Hufflepuffador. And
adorable.
Yeah. Gryffindorable. And we got to walk around. We're playing... I'm playing a character probably more than other people, but... I hope I'm playing a character more than other people. But anyways, we walk around Harry Potter world and as a Slytherin and do some funny stuff. It was a lot of fun to do, just being a jerk and being the worst. So someone on Facebook was like, Dale, the absolute worst, always and forever. And I kind of was like, oh, like, I think that's a nice thing that you're saying. It kind of hurts my feelings a bit. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, and I feel like the flip-flops, like, also helped sell it.
Yeah, totally. It just added the whole... even the way I was, like, drinking that beer, like, at the end, I was just like... like,
it was completely above it all. I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Josh loves and I don't want to spoil a lot of it, but it's just a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We've never made a video like this before, so check it out. It's a lot of fun. Share it, comment, hit like. We appreciate that stuff. We wouldn't have got to make it without the help and support of all of you being able to go to D23 and filming this type of stuff. So if you want to see more content like that, make sure to like it and share it, and we'll be able to do more of it. Midsummer Scream, another cool thing. Josh and Angie and some of our friends from Network 1902. Zach's actually starting an apparel, 1313 apparel. We'll talk about that more when he gets it up and going. But Midsummer Scream, super cool. You get to a little preview of some escape experiences and a lot of cool horror stuff and Halloween stuff. If you're into that, check that out. That was a really cool vlog. Again, she's really dedicated now and doing these vlogs. She's so good at it, and I love it. So they did some really cool edits with that. Kind of reminded me of Antisepticeye edits. So
yeah, it did though. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. 5 years of MMR. I kind of think that's a lie, but apparently Josh is claiming that Modern Mouse Radio has existed for 5 years. Don't quite believe him, but and if so, he's way low on the episode count. So
that's because he'll just take random hiatuses and not tell people.
Yes, Shannon. Yes,
it's true.
I know. I was like,
because I didn't listen to Modern Mouse Radio before, like the network and all that kind of stuff, and now I'm really into it. And so, like, all of a sudden, I'll be like, "Oh, Josh, what are you doing?" It's like, I know you just like forgot. I know that's what it is. I know your secret.
I know that you're now retroactively being like, "Oh yeah, we went on a 2-week hiatus." It's like, it seems like you forgot.
Yeah, I think you just forgot and you just didn't want to say anything. But regardless, this is a really cool episode because I know I didn't know any of this stuff and I thought it was really cool. And then honestly, it like makes me feel motivated about stuff, just hearing the way he got into it and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And then what else did I want to say about Modern Mouse Radio?
That you love Josh?
Yeah, I love Josh. I miss Josh. And also, The World That Never Was, Season 2 comes to an end. And everyone should check it out. It is about Beastly Kingdom. That's all I'm going to say about that. The World That Never Was is completed, so I know there's a lot of people who like to wait till the series is finished. So now you can continue to download and listen to the podcast now that it's finished. Also, cool little thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving it its own separate feed so other people can find it, because it is if you are trying to if you want to listen to all of The World That Never Was, you should go to network1901.com and it's all easily findable there. But in our feed, it kind of can get lost when you have a series like that. And same with Explain This Book to Me, all those like Friday series, they can get lost a little bit. The World That Never Was is so good that we're going to give it its own feed, and it'll be easier for people to find. And hopefully that'll build your community. But Josh, give yourself a round of applause. I'm sure you already have. But The World That Never Was Season 2 was excellent. You took the things you learned from Season 1 and applied it to Season 2, and I'm excited for Season 3 because I want to know a little bit about the Dark Kingdom. I don't know about you. Like, that's the one I'm like, seriously. Like, there's supposed to be a Maleficent castle, and it's supposed to be the Magic Kingdom in reverse, and it's all villains and stuff. And I think that's still a great idea that they should do.
I still need that in my life.
Yeah, exactly. So why is that not a thing?
Yeah.
And that's always, I'm always like, since Season 1, I've been asking him for that. And he's like, no, I have my own plan. So, which is cool.
You can't make Josh do anything.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, that was one of the things. It's fun because the way you were like, oh, I think he just forgot or whatever. And then he was like, oh, yeah, well, we had talked about, like, how we were asked, I was like, oh, how much money do we have in our, like, network account? Because I wanted to do some ads. And he was like, oh, I use some for Facebook. I'm like, oh, I don't remember when we talked about doing Facebook ads. And he was like, we didn't. I was like, oh, interesting. I guess we just get to make decisions on spending the money any way we want.
Basically, you know. Well, it's just like, he'll, like, say something to me, and I'll be like, okay, cool. And then, like, I'll not hear anything from him. And I'm like, I know he just forgot, but I don't want to be a bother, so I'm not going to say anything either.
That's what happens when you stay up till 4 a.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. every day.
Yep. Every day.
Yeah. Go to sleep at a proper time and do your work and not have naps in the middle of the day.
She's got to be a 75-year-old woman.
I know.
Girl.
Yeah.
Girl Shannon.
Yeah, or like a responsible adult.
That's
right. We hate you, Josh. And so, if you want to continue to hear us be mean to Josh, check out all the stuff on network1901.com. But you should also be following at McCarter Shannon on Instagram and Twitter, at Dale Wentland, or at Modern Mouse Josh. Follow our personalities, and you don't have to just follow us, our network feeds. And Shannon's doing all of her Disney bounds at McCarter Shannon, so check those out. They're awesome, and she's really getting recognized. She's really, I think, soon it'll be...
Yeah, not to pat myself on the back or anything, but I opened my phone and I just wanted to, like, check Instagram. This has never happened to me before. I had 96 notifications and I literally opened it and I said, oh shit. That's never happened to me before. That was really exciting.
Yeah, that's so nice. So that's what I mean, right? So you can follow her at McCarter Shannon. I don't know if we say that enough. Also, Shannon has her own YouTube page.
I do.
Channel. Has her own YouTube channel. Still waiting for my Seder where she does book reviews. So if you've always liked Explain This Book to Me, or
you can just get it every week.
Shannon, make sure to go on there as well. Now let's go on to a little bit of a Marvel moment. Runaways is going to be on Hulu in November, and I just want people to know what Runaways is, because I think everyone will like Runaways. Runaways is a show where the kids of villains basically get together and run away from their families.
Descendants?
But Descendants stole it from Runaways originally.
Right, yeah.
And so Runaways is a comic book that's been around for a long time. Super excellent. A lot of fun, and it's going to be on Hulu. So as for Marvel shows that you should be excited for coming out other than The Defenders, I just wanted to say that Runaways has the potential to be really good. There's a lot of different types of characters, a lot of just people that you can connect with, and it's kind of telling the story from the MCU in a different way. And and if you like Descendants, you'll probably definitely be a fan of Runaways. But there's probably a lot less Disney bounding. A lot less bounding.
Not less cosplay. Yeah.
Like it's just more just people.
Yeah, I will say that this is the first Marvel show that has actually made me kind of excited. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not super into, like, the Marvel TV shows, because I'm just not, I kind of am into maybe watching Jessica Jones, but that's, like, the only one. But then when you described this, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a thing that I would like and that I want to watch. So I'm excited. Yeah,
it's definitely. So, put that on your calendar for making sure you can watch it. It broke Angie's brain to find out that in Canada we don't really have, like, Hulu. And
I guess I would have to get Hulu to watch that.
Yeah,
I just thought about that.
Yeah,
but don't have Hulu.
Yeah, but she's like, it's on the internet. Why can't you get it? And it was a cute little thing where
It's like, we forget that you're in a different country.
Yeah. The IP addresses are actual physical addresses, even though they're digital. So, but that's our little Marvel moment. Check out Runaways, look it up, see if it might be interesting to you, because it's going to be probably pretty cool. Now, on to some park news, what we talked about before. Secrets of the Empire Hyper Reality Experience. Oh my god. Anyone who has said anything negative about Disney buying Star Wars, I'm waiting for your apology.
Yeah, for real.
Because it doesn't even, at this point, it doesn't matter even how you feel about the movies. they are giving you so much Star Wars experiences that you would have never had otherwise.
Yep.
I don't know,
true.
Like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but Josh and I went and watched the Jedi Academy thing where the kids, they fight.
Oh yeah, we watched that too.
Because I wanted to see the Kylo Ren stuff.
Yeah, that's why he took me.
Yeah. I was like tearing up. It was really weird. I don't know why I was like tearing up while I was watching it. I don't know. I almost think that out of all of the Star Wars characters, I feel like I relate to Kylo Ren the most.
Yes.
Even though like I don't come from like a royal family or something like that, but I don't know. There's just something about
there's so much I want to say about that, but I'll save it.
What do you mean? Well, we're talking about parks, so like maybe we'll talk about it and we'll talk. Yeah. What do you mean? What?
Oh well, it has to do with what I was going to talk about with the original trilogy and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, I'll save it.
So Secrets of the Empire hyper-reality experience. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about it. It's going to be physical and virtual. So you're going to be walking through like the full Star Wars experience. You know, you can't get into Star Wars Land. Okay, well, I'll go to virtual Star Wars Land. Yeah. You know, and you're not going to have to pay for a ticket. So if you have like a 3-day park hopper and you're at the parks and you're like, well, you know, I have nothing to do today, but I don't want to like buy another $120 ticket. You go to the Star Wars for VR experience. Yeah. And then hop over to the Jazz Kitchen and then like go buy some stuff at name another store that's on.
I don't know, wherever I got my phone case. That was a cool Star Wars store.
Oh yeah, which one was that? That's
I don't know the name of that.
D-Tech.
Yeah, that was a cool store. I almost bought a lot of things from there, but I settled for just the phone case.
I almost bought a lot of things the whole time, like without having any money. You know,
it was like self-control.
It's hard to be there and not spend all your money.
But I'm so excited for this thing because, like I was saying, like full immersion is just absolutely amazing, and it doesn't even have to be like a video game or anything. Just being able to be in the Star Wars world or just like any universe, because it's going to open so many doors to so many other things, makes me really, really excited. Like this is a thing that I'm like, okay, if I ever like, I have to at least go back to Disney one more time to experience this thing, even though I want to just live there now, like under the stairs or something. But I'm like really excited about this.
Well, yeah, you'll live under Josh's stairs.
Yeah,
we're trying to figure it out. That's what we gotta do. You gotta do like you gotta do like your master's program or something in California. That's
right. I mean, you know, as long as I have to get Percy mellow because I want to take Percy places with me. I don't want to leave him behind.
yeah, of course. How old's Percy?
He is going to be 2 in December.
Oh yeah, it's just age. But so the Star Wars experience is going to be so crazy. And again, the fact that it's in Downtown Disney is a really, really cool thing. It's one of those things that you almost feel like they're trying to attract people who haven't experienced Star Wars before or something. Like, and I don't know who those people are. I guess like Andrew. There are people
used to know one.
I guess because the people who know who like that's the only way you get growth, really, because people who know Star Wars already, and they go in droves. Yeah. But the people who don't, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I think that's good. They're trying to attract new fans. Like they're not just bringing out fan service that only old fans are going to get. They're trying to get more and more people into it, which I really admire. Like they're really trying to like make this something that like lots of different people can like. You know, they're like really trying to be inclusive.
Yeah. All right, Shannon and I have to geek out here. We have to talk about Star Wars and why she said she doesn't like the original trilogy.
Okay, so first of all, I don't like it as much. Like in comparison.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not your favorite then.
Right.
Would probably be more of an accurate statement than I don't like the original trilogy.
Yes, that is an accurate statement. It's not what I said.
You did say that.
I said I don't like it as much.
You said I don't like the original trilogy.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, Anyway, because let's be honest, if I ranked the movies based on just which movies I like, I do really like Empire Strikes Back. I do like A New Hope. But when I compare the characters and the storylines, it always falls flat for me with the original trilogy. And I think it has to do with how I was introduced to Star Wars, because I came into it with Force Awakens and I was really attached to Rey. I'm obviously very attached to Kylo Ren. I really relate to these characters. I'm obsessed with like where they're going and what their paths are, that kind of stuff. Particularly with Kylo Ren, I'm really into his character. And what I like about him is that his parents, you know, are Leia and Han, and they were like the big deal, like all that kind of stuff. But then they have this son that turned to the dark side and is like pushing them away and like wants to, you know, be like Vader and that kind of stuff. And that really interests me. And I tend to side with Kylo Ren, and it tends to me think that, you know, Leia and Han were not there for him, is the way that I think of it. Like something was happening to him. He was being preyed on by the dark side, by Snoke, and Leia and Han were not there to help him, which isn't necessarily
from his perspective. It is they were busy doing their, you know,
they were busy
smuggler
being,
things, you know,
and
their
big
senator
people,
things, and
yeah.
So then, you know, from his perspective, they're like, well, here, go with your uncle.
Right, yeah, and I know that, like, it's a lot more complicated than that. I know that, you know, if you read more about Leia and all that kind of stuff, it goes a lot deeper. For kids,
for kids in that experience, it isn't deeper for them. That is kind of how they perceive things.
Yeah, and that's how I see it. I see it through Kylo's eyes. So that automatically took Leia and Han down like a bunch of pegs for me, which is unfortunate because I know that I probably would have liked Leia because she is like really, really cool. She is like a badass female character, but it knocked them down. And then I went back and I watched the original trilogy, and I was into Force Awakens, or I already said that. I was into A New Hope, and I was seeing, you know, like the similarities between that and Force Awakens, but I was never as attached to those characters as I was with Force Awakens, because with Force Awakens, I was immediately I latched onto these characters, and I loved every second of it. And with A New Hope, that didn't happen. I wasn't really attached to Luke. I did think Leia was kind of cool. Han kind of got on my nerves. So it was just kind of, you know, whatever. And then I watched Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. So because Han Solo, like, you ask, like, any, like, guy, and, like, around, like, my age or and older, it's, they, like, that's probably their favorite character is Han Solo. So what do you find annoying about him? Because annoying is...
Well, what it is he's just your typical... like, you know, cool guy that, you know, is all cocky and whatever, and I don't really, all of my problems with him are really problems of his portrayal in the time period is really what bothers me. So it's not his fault, you know. I have this problem with, you know, the Disney princesses, which I am also talking about. It's just, they are victims of their time period that they were portrayed in. So he just gets on under my skin a little bit, just like the way he says things and like his interactions with Leia and that kind of stuff. And I also have problems with Harrison Ford, which also bleeds over into how I feel about Han Solo, which I try to not do, but unfortunately still happening.
The thing about Han Solo, though, you have to like, and I think it's important when you are watching films is to be able to put them into context. So like it would be wrong of someone to watch Citizen Kane or the Citizen Kane and say like, oh, it's so cliche, because what you have to understand is that it was the first time it was ever done. It's cliche to you because every movie in every situation is used that type of thing. So when you talk about he is, you know, Han Solo is this prototypical cocky character and he's arrogant and so he's the first one.
I totally get that.
He is the prototype.
Yeah, I totally get, because, you know, like Lunar Chronicles, Thorn is a lot like Han Solo. He's that same, like, cocky pilot, whatever kind of thing.
Anytime they want a cocky pilot, it's Han Solo.
I know, yeah, I totally get that. But just for some reason with him, it it just doesn't really connect with me. And that is the main problem that I have with the original trilogy, is that I just don't connect with the characters. I don't connect with the storylines. And
isn't it cool to see a character that didn't care and really didn't care, like was already talking about how they could make money off them and how he could try to leverage a young kid and an old man, and to then to come back and to protect Luke and to care.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is cool. I just it just doesn't, I don't know, you knew that was going to happen, and it just didn't hit home for me the way I feel like it does with people.
But that's
I know.
That's tough because you know it was going to happen, and I get it, because it's like for me when I watched the prequels trilogy, I care less about it because I know that it has to get to a certain point. And now for you, the original trilogy is kind of a prequel trilogy to The Force Awakens. So you're like, well, right. I'm less attached to these characters because I know I just need to fast forward in time, and then they get to point X, and then it's a new story for me that I don't know what's happening.
And you know what? Now that you've said that, I totally think that might be the main problem, is that I know eventually this thing is going to happen because it's going to lead to Force Awakens. And the reason I think I like the prequels is because, Kylo Ren was so obsessed with Darth Vader, and I was really into the fall of Anakin because I knew that they went back in the prequels and it was all devastating and all that kind of stuff. So when I see it and I see, Revenge of the Sith, it just really gets to me. It's how it's going to end, but you're rooting for this character and it breaks your heart. And it's like when I read Heartless, it was just oh my God, I know how it's going to end, but I don't want it to happen. And I really felt it. Whereas I don't ever have that experience with the original trilogy. And I mean, maybe a little bit in Empire Strikes Back, because that's probably my favorite one out of the original trilogy. But then any good stuff that got built up with that goes away with Return of the Jedi. I don't like that movie at all. It might be my least favorite out of all of them, if I'm being perfectly honest.
What's wrong with Return of the Jedi?
I was completely bored throughout the entire thing.
To be fair, was the only time you watched it during your marathon?
No, I'd seen it before then.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I know that Kaylin said the same thing. You've seen the original trilogy films twice? Is that the amount of the times you've seen them? Yeah. Which I've seen the prequels twice through as well. Yeah. So. I see your thinking face.
Well, I'm just trying to. You have the problem. For me. I like Hayden Christensen despite his performance of his Anakin is fine. The problem with Anakin is that I don't think you see him be the person he was described as for either long enough or at all. I don't see this great pilot general. And I should not have to watch the Clone Wars cartoons to see it. That is true. I do agree with you. Which I have not. I've only watched 5 episodes of Clone Wars. Yeah, I've been very bad about trying to watch them. But you shouldn't that is who Anakin was, and then who he became. In my opinion, as soon as Attack of the Clones happens, as soon as you're in that elevator, I see him as Darth Vader almost immediately. He's already going down this. I already, even though I know there's no fall. He's already kind of a person I don't really like. Already don't. He's overly petulant to Obi-Wan Kenobi, who I love. You don't endear me to Anakin by making him anti Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, and see, that's the thing. I feel that's also when I watched the
prequels
and sorry, but just hold on. But just like the whole Jedi, like the whole like he's like the Jedi Council won't listen to me and stuff. It's like, yeah, because you're kind of like weird. Like you do seem to like you. Why are you hanging out with the senator like all the time? Like you do kind of already seem evilish. Like you're wearing all black already. Like like he's so. I get why everyone is so weirded out by him, and he's so complaining, and he blames them. He's all not mad at them already, and like he gets appointed to the council, and they're like, "Well, you're not a Jedi." And he's like, "Well, why not?" And it's like, "Because you haven't done it yet, guy. Like, chill out." Like he's just. Like you're never on. Like I never am on his side. Like he commits genocide like almost immediately. I'm like, it's like, oh, you found your mom. I'm like, yeah, he found his mom. Oh, he murdered an entire village. Like, okay, you're already Darth Vader. Like you're already evil. When his girlfriend is like, it's okay. I'm like, what? What do you mean it's okay? Why are you with this guy? That's a red flag. Break up with him. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing.
Insane.
I'm about to blow your mind because I am the exact opposite of what you just said. The first time I watched the prequels, I hated Qui-Gon. Well, I didn't mind Qui-Gon Jinn, but I did not like Obi-Wan, and I did not like the Jedi Order. I still do not like the Jedi Order. I don't like Yoda at all.
Well, Yoda even says that the Jedi have become arrogant.
Yeah, well, it was like that whole thing. And what bothers me is that, like, they didn't want to train him from the beginning because he was too old. And ever since that point, they still, no matter what, they just don't want to train him. There's been this huge disconnect, and Anakin needed somebody. Like, he grew up, he had this horrible past, he was a slave, he was taken away from his mother, and he needed somebody to be there for him, and nobody was, at least in his mind. Like, Obi-Wan tried to be, but even Obi-Wan wasn't there for him like Anakin needed, and he was getting angry at the world, and it was building up inside of him, and nobody was helping him except for Palpatine, which was in a bad way. He wasn't really helping him, but he seemed like he was the only person he had, which is what makes it so tragic. And that's the same thing I see with Kylo Ren.
No, that's unfair because so you have to, I think we have to take what the movies and stuff give us, right? We have to use that as our source. And again, we're not talking about Clone Wars right now because we're talking about the films and how the films portray these characters. In the elevator ride, they don't show you, but they talk about how good their relationship is and how close they are. So and Anakin is on board with that. They even, during their car chase scene in it's not Coruscant, but
I know what you're talking about.
In the car chase, like, their friends, they're joking around. It's like, oh, it's like one of our old adventures. And it's like, oh, that would have been nice to see some of your adventures. But okay, relationship established. Like, they talk, like, they are friends. And later when Anakin, the only time Anakin talks about, like, resenting Obi-Wan is with Padme and being in love and, like, having to keep it from him, and, like, oh, he doesn't understand, he's trying to hold me back, and he, blah blah blah. And, like, it's that type of, the only friction between them is that Anakin thinks he's on the same level as his master, and that he would be a master if it wasn't for his master holding him back.
Mm-hmm. Which he does get,
and wrong, because but again, all the Jedi are arrogant, and so all the Jedi seem kind of arrogant, but Anakin's the only one being punished for it,
right? Because
they're afraid of him, because Yoda can't see his future. Yeah, which Yoda also says the future, like, the future's always cloudy with the dark side. It's like, well, there's another red flag, but whatever. Anyways,
I do agree with you. A lot of that stuff, like, a lot of things could have very easily gone different ways, because the films just, like, they're not the best. They don't portray it, the best possible way. I do agree with you on that.
I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. I'm just trying.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Like, I don't need you to agree with me either. Yeah. But that is, like, great. How I've, that's the whole thing about us talking about this. But yeah, I've just always seen it as, like, he was, like, crying out for help. Like, he obviously needed somebody, and he didn't have that person, and he felt like he couldn't trust his only friend. Like I know you said we're talking about the movies, but in the novelization, like he says, like Obi-Wan's his best friend, but he can't trust him and he keeps lying to him. And that's why everything goes bad, is because everybody starts lying to everyone. Like all of a sudden we're keeping all of these secrets, and it's not just Anakin and Padme, it's Obi-Wan and it's Jedi. Yeah, they're all keeping secrets and nobody can trust each other. And there was some kind of disconnect where that trust just like couldn't happen, and it just like is insane to me. And I love seeing his character because it's so complex, like all of that stuff.
But Anakin commits genocide before his fall. Like,
he was already falling.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like right away, like you already can tell, like you don't like him, or like he's already not that great. But like he wasn't like. But the movie pacing and the way the character arc happens, he isn't falling yet. Like they said, like he's only done heroic things at this point. Mm-hmm. Right, he's only been a good guy at this point,
but he's still been angry. Like, that's the thing. Like, they do establish, I think he's had that anger for a long time.
Sure, but they don't show anything until that moment.
Well, he's having the dreams, and nobody's acknowledging him for having these dreams and, like, wanting to save his mother, except to just let it go.
Yeah.
Nobody's teaching him how to deal with it.
Yeah, because he's not supposed to have that attachment and stuff.
Right, but but because he's not supposed to have it, they're not acknowledging that he does.
Yeah, of course, yeah. They should help him. Like, well, great. Well, he does have the attachment, so help him solve the attachment as opposed to just ignoring it and burying it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and see, and like that, this is what I like about the prequels. There's so much complexity. There's so much in there that you can like dig in and talk about. And I've never felt that with the original trilogy. Whenever I go back to it, I just can't find that with these characters, like I can with Anakin and like I can with Kylo Ren and Rey and all of them.
Well, the new series has introduced a new layer, and then the mystery and the prequels kind of touched on it with like political intrigue and stuff like that. But the problem is that we knew kind of everything already, so there's not. So now we're getting that mystery and intrigue but we don't know we don't know what the end result is, so it's more drawing, and I agree with you on that. The thing is that Star Wars had the same thing, it just didn't know it had it, and the viewer doesn't know it has it until the reveal. Like, you don't know that there's a reveal until there's a reveal in Star Wars. So you don't know there's nothing to be revealed.
I mean, and I do see what you're saying there, because like obviously for those first 6 movies, I already knew, like I've been spoiled on all of that stuff. Like I knew all of that stuff. And so I guess I do see, like, even with the prequels, there was no reveal because everybody already knew from the originals. Yeah. And so like I am in the situation where I don't get any of that stuff because, everybody already knew, like the whole Luke, I am your father thing. I think I knew that before I even knew it was from Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. So. But the thing is that the great thing about those films is at no point is there ever an idea that there should be a mystery more than like who Luke's father is. You know what I mean? Like, Darth Vader killed and betrayed your father. All said and done. You go through like another 3/4 of a movie, and then like another 3/4 of a movie before you get this one huge thing, and the movie never plays to it. It never hints at, like, it's not it's like, oh, who's this mystery, right? Like the whole time, it's not like the Rey situation where we're like, who's her family?
Yeah. I mean, it is like in Spider-Man, like you said before. It's like you're never trying to guess at this thing because you didn't know you were supposed to be guessing at this thing.
Yes. And then
which I acknowledge that. Yeah.
And then but then Return of the Jedi is, doesn't have any of that because you're focusing so much on the Emperor. And that's the one thing that you should the best thing to take from Return of the Jedi is Luke, Darth Vader, and the Emperor. That is the best stuff. That whole thing.
Unfortunately for me, Luke was like one of my least favorite characters, so I just didn't enjoy that whole part of the movie.
Look how far Luke has come. Like, I was going to Tosche Station to pick up some power converters. Like, your overconfidence is your weakness. Like, he's gone to this full different level, and he teeters. Like, Anakin doesn't really like teeter on the dark side. He like embraces it immediately. Again, when he murders an entire village of sand people, he embraces that. His girlfriend supports him. No one seems to care. And like Luke is teetering on this, and he's being tempted, like in a lot of ways that Anakin is tempted in the prequels, and he has an opportunity. He has the Emperor standing right there. You know what I mean? Like Luke is. I mean,
and it does a lot of ways
Luke is his
mirror
father,
that scene too.
Luke is his father, but he makes the right decision in the end.
Which is the whole. Which I love seeing, like when you go back and you see that it mirrors that scene that we later get in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
It's like we see what would have happened if Luke had given in and made that choice, which is what's so interesting about villains, is like we get to see what happens if we don't make the right decisions, if we go down a different path. And I do like his journey. I just never felt super connected or invested with it. And like from the very beginning, I was invested kind of in Leia's character. I was interested in where she was going. And then I feel like after Empire Strikes Back, she doesn't get anything. She's just kind of demoted. I don't want to say she's demoted to a love interest, because that's not what it is. But it's the same thing that happens with Padme, but for some reason with Padme it doesn't bother me as much. And I do think that goes back to the whole stigma that I had already gotten from The Force Awakens of her not being there for Kylo Ren.
Well, and it's hard because you've seen Rey, and Rey is like a more lovable version of Luke, you know, right? Like, but really, next time you watch Star Wars, really take the time to see that Luke is this character who is in this world, but he's taking you through the journey, and he's a blank slate. He is, you know, in a world like that is so crazy. He's, you know, walking around in his like little white outfit and like just is like, what's happening? What's going on? Oh my God. Like, you know, and
yeah. Well, I mean, he's the Harry Potter. He's you know, he's the blank slate. He's taking us through it.
He has all the same, you know, like he's being held back. He feels like his uncle's not letting him do the things that he wants to do. He's like right from the very get-go, he's experiencing all the same things that Anakin experienced, but you know, he just handles it differently. So I don't know. You know, yeah, that's cool.
It's really interesting though. Like I like being able to talk about it, because this is my problem with a lot of things, is nobody really cares what I have to say about anything and doesn't want to hear me talk about these kind of things, and that's all I want to do is talk about Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yeah. And Shannon, they might not live in your house, but a lot of people care what you have to say. So
well, it's not just the people that live in my house. It's my entire life.
I know, yeah. But yeah, that's so. I don't know. I'm sure you're gonna watch the original trilogy again at some point, but try to
like
see it
I do intend. I want to go back through them and watch them in like the correct order, or do like the machete order, the way that Sky Talkers has been doing it.
Yeah. You know what you need to stop doing is having to watch all the movies just
together.
Like,
just watch them.
Just watch Empire. You know what I mean? Like just watch Return of the Jedi. Like, you know, all the story, like, just, like, that's the thing now, is that you're in this place, like, you don't need to, like, always watch this, like, this is, like, the worst way to watch movies. I hate watching, like, 12 movies. Just, like, watch a movie. Like,
which is, like, what I do.
I know, but just, like, watch Attack of the Clones, you know what I mean? Like, just watch, and you get a different experience with it, for sure.
It's true. It is true. Especially, and you don't get the burnout. That is true.
Yeah, and I remember watching Grindhouse and hating Death Proof, which was Quentin Tarantino's, because it was the second film in this Grindhouse thing. I was like, oh, it's so long. I watched I watched Death Proof on its own, and I was like, oh, what a cool, fun movie. Like, I wish I enjoyed it more when I had to sit through one whole movie and then watch another movie. But yeah, so like that's the thing. You got to just give them their own experience and time, because they are part of a saga, but they are in a lot of ways their own close stories as well. And you don't always have to watch the entire saga.
You mean you don't have to watch every Harry Potter movie all at once a year?
Yeah, exactly. You have saga-itis, and you need to stop binge watching everything you do. And sometimes it's okay just to watch like one thing. I think that definitely, like, if you try, I bet you if you pick up like Return of the Jedi and just watch like Return of the Jedi, you'll be like, oh, like in its own movie thing, there's a lot of cool things that happen, but it is part of a saga, and there's others, but you know the story, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that with a book too. It's just like reread like one of my favorite ones, like the Titan's Curse, or just like Court of Mist and Fury, instead of like reading the whole series
I love
again.
That you're like, this is an idea I've had, and I've really maybe I'll try.
No,
like,
it is for books, not for movies. It is for books. I have never thought about that with Star Wars. That is true.
That's insane that you've never thought about just watching the movie, like any movie.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's like you can't just watch Justice League. You're gonna have to like watch all of the DC films. I was like, no, just watch Justice League. It's fine.
Yep.
You can
literally me with a lot of the Marvel movies. It's like, well, I haven't seen this thing, so I'm going to be lost.
You know what? You can just plunk in Prisoner of Azkaban right now. You know that? You can do that.
Blasphemy.
You have that power.
Can't do it.
This has been episode 28 of the Disney Culture Club. Thank you so much for joining us on this little journey of geekdom and nerdom, and we hope you were participating in the conversation in your own little way. And you can continue the conversation on Twitter. She's at Carter Shannon. I'm at Dale Wentland. We are at Network 1901 on the social medias. You can go to network1901.com for all the links for all of our Friday shows, our videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. We have Patreon as well if you want to support us that way. You really don't have to. Sharing and liking is just as good. But we really appreciate all our Patreons. It means the world to us. It helps us do things like get a separate feed for Josh's amazing podcast and help grow our community, and we really appreciate that. And we want to go to Disneyland more. Not me, I obviously I want to go to Disneyland more, but I want to do more content there. I want to do more things, more live shows.
We want to live with Josh in the garbage cans.
Yeah. But thank you everybody for all your support. We appreciate it more than we can ever say in an hour-long show. And with that, I guess we'll see you in a galaxy far, far away. Bye. Aww.
Oh my god. Josh isn't here and we still messed up.
We'll just leave it at that. That was fun.